Well, bam.
Hey, we're back.
How's it going, guys? We're back here. We're going to talk about Top Gun Maverick, the latest new entry of propaganda for the Navy.
Dude, you know Tom Cruise, I want to say, if I heard the radio correctly, he made I don't know if it's the most money or it was one of his biggest movies that he had yet. I guess what they did is they wanted to film it and they kept trying to ask him questions like, hey, let's do this. And he kept going, no. Well, they actually drove down when he was doing the new Mission Impossible he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they drove down there and sat down for 30 minutes, had a conversation, and they said he just called Paramount up and said, hey, we're making another Top Gun. I mean, I don't know the full details, but that's kind of all that they told, or I heard on the radio this morning.
I'm really glad they made one because the first one, for me, it was just lacking a lot of realistic action sequences because it was all school related. So I'm glad this one you actually got to see a little bit of that combat aspect.
The old one wasn't too bad. I watched it the day before I went to see Maverick. So, because I've seen parts of Top Gun, but I haven't finished it, and it never really stood out hey, you have to really watch this movie. Everybody I know is vouched for it, but then I watched this one and I'm okay, yeah.
My girlfriend's mom is she's a huge Tom Cruise fan, so when I told her I was going to go see it, she wanted to come with, but I'm glad we did it because that would have been really awkward having a Russian sit there and talk to us the entire time as they're killing their pilots and shit.
I don't know. I guess what did it for me, and I'm not the biggest Tom Cruise fan, and I'm a huge Iron Man fan, and to have him, to know that he either is or has a possibility of taking on that mantle of Iron Man. When you think of Iron Man, look at the comics before any of the movies. They just mentioned Iron Man in the drawing. That was Robert Downey Jr. before he even knew he was playing Iron Man. And I can't picture Tom Cruise. The Iron Man robot's gonna be this short.
Yeah, I think that's the main issue with Tom Cruise being Iron Man is he would be such a small presence among that cast with everybody being 6 foot something.
Well, the reason why Marvel does so well in their movies, minus Robert Downey Jr. was a big time actor prior, and I think the first Spider-Man, what's his nuts, Tobey Maguire. I mean, he had the Brothers and some other good movies and stuff. But Marvel doesn't really always focus on those high name brand people, like DC does. So they have a little bit more money to do stuff with. DC, most of the freaking movie, do they take money to make the movie? It can go into the pockets. At least they can save some money firing Amber Heard.
Well, to bring it back to the movie, what were your favorite aspects of this one compared to the first Top Gun? It makes it neat to see.
Obviously, CGI is awesome and stuff like that, but
a lot of it wasn't CGI, apparently. According to sources online that I've read, a lot of the G's that they did inside the cockpit and stuff were actually filmed in a simulator. So he actually went through all that when he's jerking around the control and fucking flipping back and forth to go through that valley. Now, that's all real.
I understand that in their maneuvers, when they're maneuvering in the airplane and stuff like that, there's a lot of different, controls. I can't fly an airplane, but then you look at Need for Speed, how they have a 50, I'm freaking brain farting, transmission,
50, shift gears and stuff?
Yeah, you have 50 gears in that shit. They're always shifting up and down 100 times, and then it's the same thing when they're shifting the airplanes, which I don't know anything, I'm ignorant about it, but I'd assume that's more realistic, going, just going in. So, but what I really liked is that they brought, for instance, Rooster, and then the backstories, they really seemed like they picked up where they left off. That was a big one for me. It wasn't just a new Top Gun movie.
It definitely felt natural in that sense.
It did. What I didn't understand, and I may be wrong, but as far as I know, most of the time, unless it's a whole visor, I thought people with glasses couldn't fly airplanes.
Bob?
Bob, dude, do not fuck with Bob. Bob was an OG, and you know what? He was one of my favorites. As soon as I saw Bob, I'm he's gonna do something awesome.
I'm mad that they made his character at the end. Oh, it's fucking my laser guy doesn't work. I was like, bro, it's Bob. Bob is like on point the entire time, but they had to make him like
human,
worthless at the end.
Well, the whole movie to me felt like, what is it? Not The Empire Strikes Back, but it felt like Star Wars,
where they're going to destroy the Death Star. It just happens.
They get the first one, they goes boom, and then the second one, oh, they can't get it. Use the Force, Luke. I'm thinking it's use the Force, Maverick, or not Maverick. It was
Rooster.
Yeah,
Use the Force. Just so happened to have God's perfect aim, bro. I mean, it was very,
I mean, he got really close though to shoot compared to where they were supposed to be when they released, so that might have made it a difference. Again, I've never flown an airplane in my life, nor a helicopter. I've done a lot of military vehicles, but no aviation. I've rode in a Black Hawk once.
And it's ironic because if any of you guys don't know, my brother's eyesight is the most perfect that you can get, and he has the perfect stature probably to fly a fighter pilot as a fighter pilot in the Army. It's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I always thought I wasn't smart enough to like fly an airplane. And then I realized that I could possibly, put some time in and really put in the work. But you'd be dumb to think I'm going to sit there and read an entire fucking operating manual on how to fly, an F-16 and F-18. I'm like...
You guys read all this? Throws it in the chat.
That was so funny. He's like, the plane inside it up. So does our enemy. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if I could devote time. I mean, I guess in basic training... At least for me, when I was at Fort Benning, what they did is, I mean, you had no phones, no nothing, and, I mean, you had certain times where you could write, you couldn't just write any time you wanted. That was like you're down like 30 minutes to an hour if you get that. Some nights you just don't get mail and you don't send it or anything like that unless you stay up and sneak it. But when we were there, the only thing we really had to do when we weren't cleaning weapons was rereading the same little blue book binder, and then like they gave us 2 other books on stuff just to read through, and over and over and over and over and over again for hours a day, 7 days a week until graduation. So maybe they got stuck with that book, and that was the only thing they read. So yeah, maybe they flipped. But then again. Well, if they're in the Navy, I mean, if they're in the Air Force, I would say they had, a lot of distractions, where they're going out to eat at a fancy restaurant.
Tell me if you agree, but I had 2 main gripes with this movie. One of them being the cheesiness of the usage of music in this. Like, goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire in the cafe.
Well, it's because it was off the first movie.
It was from the first movie, but I felt like it was cheesy. They could have used a different song, but they all sang together or something. But also the transition for the original theme song of the original Top Gun movie.
They used it like 2 times in a row.
I know. I thought that was cheesy though. My last gripe, is I feel like they did Val Kilmer dirty, bro. And the dude aged so hard compared to Tom Cruise, and they put him in a freaking vegetative can't talk state kind of throughout the movie.
He could stand up and barely talk for a little bit.
Fucking Batman sitting over there.
Yeah, you played a better Batman than us. Fucking, I tell you what. No, really, I don't know. What was I gonna say? What was your second gripe?
The usage of their music.
What I think would have happened is if they had like a new song towards the beginning, and then like to finish off the end of the movie, like, hey, your dad and I used to do this song, or your dad liked this song, and then he'd be like, then you started off. I think they would have recapped everything, but I don't know. I see why they did what they did. I didn't have too much complaints except for the whole glasses and flying an airplane. I think I found out that they can, like the other day when I was looking it up, because it was bothering me. I'm like, for so much things, and I don't know how accurate any of it is because I've never flown an airplane. I don't intend to ever plan to, because that's years of my life that I will never get back. And what am I going to do, go buy an airplane? We got to start charging people like $50 a video on this thing.
One thing I'm super happy that they did in this favorite part of the entire movie. They did the GTA 5, sneak into the airport, and steal a jet.
That was the
best part of the movie.
They just kind of like, time to run.
I was like, oh yeah, of course, you're not going to be seen in the fog of the fire. But these dudes freaking just so happened to recon their own jet that was capable of flight and had attached rockets and everything else, perfectly fucking flyable. I was like, wow, that's huge, but oh my gosh, that was the best part of the movie for me, is them flying out of there and using the safety net on the carrier ship.
I did like it though. They knew it was Maverick when flying back, because he went right past that control tower, just
yep, do the request to flyby. Permission denied, and he fucking flew and spilled the coffee. That was fantastic.
At least they have coffee this time.
Yeah, dude.
He learned from his mistake. When Maverick's flying, don't hold coffee.
I low-key wish that he had like a straw and a cup. This time it was like,
yeah, one of those cups like the straw
cup or something instead. But that was great. That's the best part of the movie.
Or he just like quickly.
And I will say, for this sort of movie, they did have a lot of they tugged at your heartstrings a couple times.
Dude, the ending, I mean, like, I'm not a guy to choke up, but the ending, I was like getting there, just how they were ending.
I was fighting back the tears hard that ending. Do what my father would have done. It's fantastic, bro.
I mean, it was good. It was good acting. Who played his son? Who was that?
Miles Teller.
That was Maverick? Yeah, Rooster.
Yeah, Rooster.
What is he playing?
I feel like he played in his Divergent series, if I'm not mistaken. However, I definitely could be wrong.
He played in the Fantastic Four. Is that the new or the older one? That's a newer one.
Oh yeah, he played Reed Richards in the new one.
I haven't seen that. Oh, he played in Project X. Maybe that was the last one.
Footloose. Yeah, so he did play in Insurgent and Divergent and all those movies that were.
I saw those, but very briefly. I mean, I don't remember much.
Nobody does, because they split the last book into two parts, and it just didn't work.
And you laugh at me if you want, but I always mix up like those and like Maze Runner, and then their other Runner one where they're like
Maze Runner, Divergent, and Hunger Games all blend to me.
And I don't know if it's just Maze Runner, but I thought, unless I'm thinking of Maze Runner, I don't know how many movies they had, but they started off like they had to get out of this little area.
That was Maze Runner.
Okay, I saw a movie, like a horror movie similar to that, where like it was like a prison or something.
Probably the Escape Room one that came out a while back.
Oh, dude, this was like.
I kind of want to see that. I haven't seen that one yet.
Escape Room?
Yeah, they're like on a train and they had to do the letters and stuff by pulling the handles. And
oh, I haven't seen anything like that. I watched so many scary movies, dude. They honestly all start to blend in now to each other because
they have a lot of cliches.
But yeah, for the movie, I mean, it was good. I mean, I won't put it on top of like if I had to put it on like other non like grunt style movies. I don't think I'd put it above Fury.
Fury was
is still on like my top like 10.
That was a fantastic movie for, especially like grunt work, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, like for grunt movies, I mean, Act of Valor was like the last straw. As soon as I saw that, I called a recruiter like the next day. But I mean, American Sniper. I still haven't seen Saving Private Ryan just because it's 3 freaking hours.
I feel like Top Gun does a good job of being military related, but not necessarily associated with like war films.
Yeah, it's more of just like that one mission kind of movie, and yeah, that it's kind of cool. I mean, I think in the first one you lost a lot of action. You know, you didn't have a lot of action in it. It was more dialogue and
skill.
It's kind of why I can't watch like like Game of Thrones type of shows and movies because 99% of it's dialogue and 1.1% combat.
You can't knock Game of Thrones to me, man. That was
I'm just saying, I can't do the constant dialogue. I went to go see the other one that just came out, Northman. So much freaking dialogue. I mean, it was cool when you...
I think you just have to understand what those types of movies are before they come out. Because for me, Northman is probably going to be one of the best movies.
I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was cool and all. I mean, when he's, walking like this and just, just taking those, But on the other side of it...
like when he shaved, though, he kind of lost my respect. just a little bit when he cut his hair and stuff.
We're sitting in the movie theater and his wife or something like that goes and or his mom like kisses him and talks about like, doing the nasty. And I meant to just whisper it, but out loud, just whore. And the entire movie theater was packed. It was packed. The whole movie theater lost their shit. And then I have like some kids sitting by me like, man, that was funny. You want some Sour Patch Kids? I want some Sour Patch Kids. Yeah.
Well, we won't make this one too long for you guys. To close out, what letter grade would you give the movie overall?
Ooh. We're doing Asian letter rating. I would have to
That'd be
say,
tough.
I'm not going to say S. Nowhere to S. Maybe, I'd say A rank.
A for you?
A rank. Otherwise, if we're looking at the US, B. Because, in Japan, they got the S for, like, above an A.
I would simply give it an A minus just because I feel like they didn't tie the beginning of the movie in with the end.
Well, I think the first, 2-3 minutes of the movie was, like, the first 2 or 3 minutes of the first Maverick.
Well, that, I just meant, like, the fact that he went Mach 10 didn't play any role at the very end.
Well, because remember when you had to get to at least Mach 9?
That was 10 Gs.
Oh, yeah.
Mach 10. So he didn't need to go.
I think it was just to get in trouble. So he could get sent back to Top Gun.
It tied into the fact that he had to go back, but I just felt like it'd be kind of cool if he had to go like Mach 10 to escape one of their jets.
Yeah, like if they found when they're running to get that I thought maybe they would find one of those that he would have to like skedaddle.
Yeah, that would be.
That would have made more sense. Yeah. But yeah, give it an A.
I would definitely recommend you go see it. It's fantastic. It's out now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's completely destroying the box office right now because. That's
what they said. They said it's doing amazing. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it does better than Batman.
Probably will. Honestly, Tom Cruise is probably the best action actor of our generation.
Ooh, we're gonna have to have a conversation about that in another Snapchat or another video, another podcast.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you here next time. Thank you.
See you.
Yeah.
See, that was really well.